I mean, some sharp people in there. What's the problem? Kinwood, the problem is my fear. I keep running and never facing. And that's the reason, Sister Thompson, for our drug culture. Okay? That's the reason for that culture, okay? People who love to run, okay, from their fears instead of staying and facing and dealing. Cowards they are. And I tell them that, folks. A drug addict is a coward. Okay? Amen? Fright has turned him to fright. May have started dabbling at first, but now my life is such a mess, I got to keep running. I don't want to face the music of all the mess I've made. Folks, they're all cowards. They live lives running from the battle of life, so afraid of failure, success, and responsibility that comes with it. They live in a kind of, and I want you to think about this, folks, you call it cyclic paralysis. Cyclic paralysis. You see that? Cyclic paralysis. We're talking about a cycle. Okay? Vicious cycle that keeps them in the same place. Okay? Isn't it amazing? You can go to 6th and Market, 6th and Mission, and the same guys, if they're not dead, they're still there. And they've been there for 15 years, 20 years. Amen? Okay? 15, 20 years, okay? Okay? All right? Okay? Got kids? Proud of the kids? Okay? And all they can say is, don't be like me. Don't be like me. But the sad thing, folks, and I want you to get this point, the tragedy of that, Ellen, is this, is that if your kids love you, they admire you. And whoever we admire, we will become. Okay? Without any effort, any conscious effort on our part, we will become who we admire most. And what you're saying here, what's happening in our society, is a whole generation of cowards are raising children to be cowards like they are. Fright causing them flight, running and hiding in the maze of drugs. Sick, folks. And so that's why, Jason, 4 or 5 generations, you'll see convicts, addicts, and you wonder what's wrong with that family. What's wrong with that family is somebody could not pass courage down. All they could pass down was fear. This fear is crippling, and it brings about a paralysis. A paralysis. You ever shook so hard or been scared of something that you felt like you were stuck? Your feet weighed 200-300 pounds apiece, could hardly lift them up. Okay, have you ever been that afraid? Well, that's how these folks are towards life. All you got to do is look at the last 5 years of their life. Stuck, afraid, cowards. Okay? The real heroes is that generation that went before us, who stayed and faced those fears. Amen? I mean, the older I get, the more I respect those older folk, okay? You know that? Okay, I mean, hey, when I was a teenager, they didn't know nothing. I knew everything, okay? And I was going to do so many things different, okay? And boy, I look at my generation now and look what we did, okay? Look what we did, Ronaldo, okay? I mean, we are a mess. But what about the next generation and the next generation? I mean, you're talking about a bigger mess. And then a bigger mess. Until we won't have nothing left as a community or country. Folks, B.F. Skinner wrote a book, Escape from Reason, back in 1937. And here was a paper hanger who had barely a high school education. And what this man did was he took the intelligentsia of the world, Germany before World War II, and created a scapegoat, the Jews, and created a fear, and then told the intelligentsia of the world that we're going to have one day, one night, and we're going to burn all the books in all the libraries, burn the knowledge of this country. Burn it! And they did it because he taught them to fear. He taught them to fear. Folks, fear is dangerous. Fear is debilitating. Fear brings about a paralysis, and fear rapes one of life and reduces one to simple existence, barely making it, always eking out, squeaking out. And that's because they keep running. All right? Once again, cyclic paralysis. How about it, folks? That's a tragedy in the world. But Barbara, let me just share with you a greater tragedy. Greater tragedy is the fact that many Christians and whole congregations are shackled by this same kind of fear. How about it? They are cowards when it comes to their own lives. They are cowards as congregations practicing what one has called rabbit hole Christianity. Think about it, folks. Here are all the lives in their neighborhood around their church building. Drugs, family breakups, juvenile delinquency, and what they do in their beautiful clothes, beautiful cars. They race in and get out, lock their doors, put a guard out there to watch the cars and watch the building, and they go have their worship and escape out of that community again, back to their safe homes, never touching that community. How about it, folks? Okay? Don't want to touch that community. You let 50 people from that community walk in one Sunday morning. Okay? If stairs could be knives, they'd all be dead. Okay? Okay? If stairs could be knives, they would all be dead. They would kill them. You think of some of the people we minister to at Santa Rita, and just ask yourself, some of the congregations, would they be welcome? Where people would invite them to dinner and treat them like they would treat other members who have been there for a while. No, folks. Okay? They are afraid, and their fright turns them to flight, even in the neighborhood.